Okay. What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming to you guys today because, of course, it's another deck profile for January 2024. January 2024. And with the new list in tow, and with a unexpected change to the list, we have a deck that's coming out of the woodworks to try to yet again be tier, and it's probably one deck that I honestly say was another deck that I could say, and it's a meta deck that I do enjoy playing, and it's a meta deck that I think many of other people who enjoy playing, because I mean, let's be real, we love our waifu decks, we love our hashtag girl power decks, and Sky Strikers is definitely one of them. And every time I look up, Sky Striker is just getting a whole bunch of new support. Like, they're about to get a whole new wave of monsters based off of things in the manga that's out for them. Because, yeah, the first of the archetypes to get a manga exclusive to them. That's rare that you ever see that, because most of the time when you see the manga, it's basically just, alternate world universe cards of the main pro tag and friends and stuff like that. So, yeah, it is nice to see that they're focusing on the monsters. I hope they kind of do this with some others, because the recent Yu-Gi-Oh manga is focusing on some big decks as well. And oh man, if I that manga is amazing, and I've seen some of the stuff, because I've seen Wanderies, I've seen Tri Brigade, I've seen some more. I've seen just, yeah, it's really, really good. And what's really, really good now is that there's also ways of you focusing on that while including your Sky Striker. So this is an IRL build of Sky Striker, and there are a couple of the Sky Striker cards I'm not running. Especially the new Link monster, because I think the other one is better, but I don't think we have the other ones. Well, actually, we don't have the other three. Well, two out of the four new Sky Striker Link monsters. But I've already talked about those in my videos, so you can check those out when you get the chance. But with that said and done, let's go ahead and let's go into my Sky Striker. So starting here off, I am running triple copies of our girl Sky Striker Ace Ray. Then I'm running one copy of Sky Striker Ace Rose. Then I'm running triple copies of course, some very notable hand traps. We have Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, and we have Effect Veiler. So that is it for the monsters. Then for the spells, and this is majority of what the deck is going to be like, because it's majorly heavily used on spells. For the Sky Striker spells, I'm running triple copies of Mobilize, Linkage, 3 copies of Sky Striker Mobilize, Mecha Widow Anchor, 2 copies of Mobilize Engage, 2 copies of Afterburner, 2 copies of Shark Cannon, 1 copy of Area Zero, 1 copy of Hornet Drone, 1 copy of Multi Roll. So that is all the Sky Striker spells. Then you move on to all the non-striker spells, and that's triple copies of Tactics Talent, triple copies of the Upstar Goblin, triple copies of Mind Control, then Rhoda, Change of Heart, Harpie's Feathered Esther. And that is it for the spells. And then for the traps, I'm running literally a set of Infinity and Permeates. So that is it for the main deck. That is legitimately 40 cards. Then for the extra deck, I'm running triple copies of Shizuku, triple copies of Kigari, triple copies of Hayate. No, double copies of Hayate. This should be a third Hayate. I don't know why it's not a third. But it's 3. And then it's 2 copies of Zeki, 1 copy of Kina, then 1 copy of Dirk the Dark Charmer, 1 copy of Celine, the Queen of Master Magicians. And then I have 2 extra deck monsters, ironically enough, for the climb up from Celine. And that is Tapologic Zeroboros and Tapologic Bomber Dragon, because I can't get a access code talker. But one of these can be access code, and then one of these can fit in for the third, I should call her Ray, Hayate. So yeah, it's whichever one you want it to be. I'm sure that will fit in for the third Hayate. Now, all right, moving into it. Oh yeah, and I have like the Skyship Grace token because yay. So let's go ahead. Let's go into our destinations. So starting off right off the bat, of course, is our triple copies of Ray. Ray is basically your engine goer, your starter setup for things, and just basically who's gonna get into your Sky Striker extra deck as soon as possible. While second to her is her new BFF, Sky Striker Ace Rose. So when you have a Sky Striker card that is coming onto the field, normal or special, you can just summon Rose. And then you can do all these shenanigans of things. Your opponent, what is it? If your opponent, because I have bad eyes and I have to remember these things. Rose's other abilities, if your opponent monster in the extra monster zone is destroyed by a card effect, um, or at least the field because of a card of your card effect. While you have this card in the graveyard, you can just summon this card, and then you can negate the effects of one face-up monster your opponent controls to the end of the turn. So not too bad for some bit of negation with presence. But really, what you're doing with Rose and Ray is you're basically just doing your linking into your extra deck for your Kagari, your Hayate, your Zeki, and stuff like that. And there's going to be a new Striker support card. It's a monster that actually can even be an extend of a. It's going to be an extender, and that's going to be even cool too because the little guy is great. I don't know if he's out yet. I want to say he's not out because he's in a special set. So hopefully soonish he comes to the TCG. But for right now, we're just rocking with Ray and we're rocking with Rose in the main deck. So then from there, your hand traps of choice can vary of whichever hand traps you want to play with, but I am playing, of course, with forehead and feet, and then girly with ribbons. Of course, Effect Veiler and Ash Blossom enjoy springs. You can use was it Drawing Lockbird. You can easily take advantage of DD Crow, Nibiru. You can run Hemp if you want to as well. Like you have so many different options of things you can easily take advantage of with Sky Striker. That even though this seems like a very small monster pool, you can easily take advantage of the plethora of things in your build with the plethora of hand traps and stuff you can easily raise. Or you can just side them into your side deck too. That's mostly what I did. So, alright, we're going to move on from there. And now we go into this plethora of spells and traps that, oh my god, yes, this is what Sky Striker is mainly about. The massive amount of spells and traps that this deck runs, because it gives so many different benefits to the Sky Striker spells itself. Because one thing that will let you know is Sky Striker spells have additional effects when you have a graveyard that's full of 3 or more Sky Striker 3 or more spell cards. So do know that. Now, with that said, we have, of course, the triple copies of Linkage. Linkage actually just helps you get into Zeki, it helps you get into your other um, Link monsters for the Sky Striker so that you can pull off those plays even during your opponent's turn. The benefit to this is that if you have if you have at least one light and one dark monster in your graveyard, you can start summon a Sky Striker monster from your extra deck, and it gains an additional 1,000 attack. So things can basically be 2k or so and be able to swing over some bodies. In addition to that, um, yeah, it's just a really good card to help you get into some yearling plays. Widow Anchor, negation, and then if you have 3 or more spells, you can take control of your opponent's monster that you negated. We all love our Mobilize Engage because, of course, it is the searcher for your psychic spells, and then when you have 3 or more in the grave, you can draw 1 card. There is the alternate art of this card that has, I think it's Rose in her armor for when she's in the Zeki bot. So that is the thing. And then for monster removal, we have Sky Striker Afterburners, as well as a bit of spell and trap removal, because no one's really running Jamming Wave because there's not too many spells and traps being played heavily on the board. That might change with a lot of the things currently going on, but it's up to you if you want to play Jamming Wave. But Jamming Wave hits set, I think, has to hit set cards are just spells and traps, and then it hits the monster. Afterburner can hit the monster, even your own monster, and then still hit a spell or trap too. You have 3 or more in the grave. Similar to the Widow Anchor, but not really. It's the Shark Cannon, because Shark Cannon, excuse me, can banish a monster in your opponent's graveyard, and then if you have 3 or more, you can take control of that. You set that monster to your side of the field, and then that can help you with your link climbs. The Area Zero, because of course Skychecker Field spell. The Hornet Drone, because it can give you your and a token, and that token can help you go into your exceeds. And funny enough, the multi-roll. While multi-roll is at 3, and I haven't seen too many people play triple or double multi-roll. The thing about multi-roll is that this is supposed to help you get over things by making sure you have them in the graveyard and you can bring them back. So at the end of the turn, for every spell that has been played, you can set that many number of striker spells from your graveyard. Or I'm sorry, I think I'm correct. I think that's actually incorrect. I think it's the number of striker spells that you've played that turn. You can set that many in your spell and trap card zone, but they banish when they leave the field. The thing about that is that it's one issue that I've had with the newer Sky Striker support is a lot of them don't return things that are banished to the grave. They rather return them to the hand, which itself isn't bad, but also at the same time is your deck that specializes on having extra spells and traps in the graveyard and then gaining additional effects for those cards being in the graveyard. This is part of the reason why a lot of people dropped a lot of those extra spells and traps, because there was no need to unless you want the Turbo Instinct. So stuff like Foolish Burial's Goods were taken out, Metal Foes Fusion, and other things like that, just because, well, the Sky Checkers kept getting more spell and trap support to do things, so there really wasn't much of a need to do them. And now with multiples of things going back to, 2s and 3s, really is there any need for them? And I'm going to say probably not, because now things are just one-offs. If anything, your big 3 are over here, additional stuff here, and then these are basically your one-offs. And that's just from what I've seen, but your builds can vary. Alright, that is it for all the Sky Striker spells in a nutshell. Let's go on to all the generic spells. Of course, we have our spell and trap removal with Harpie's Feather Duster. We had a bit of control with Change of Heart. Because, yeah, Duster, Change of Heart, Dark Hole, Raigeki, all together. Ain't that something? And Snatch Steal. Rhoda, to search for either Ray or Rose. Funny enough, Rhoda is now said to have an alternative art where it's Sky Striker, Ace, Ray, and Rose going into battle. So it's basically just alternate art for a card that's been in the game for literally over 2 decades. To literally just be a generic searcher and just lolly out things. That's literally the only reason why I can see them even doing the alternate art for Rhoda, to have basically New Age warrior monsters that are being played in the scene. Then we have Mind Control. Well, you have Change of Heart. Yeah, well, Mind Control can help out too. Just having all these various cards that don't have any restrictions to them, in terms of what, the Widow Anchor and Shark Cannon do. Excuse me. You take advantage of it. Also, freebies. Like, these are free spells being activated and going to your graveyard. So the more spells you put in your graves, the more things you can take advantage of. And with Mind Control, you can easily do that. And then link into stuff like Zeki. You can link into your Dirk and all those other cards as well. And then you can just play and take advantage of that. Of course, the Upstart Goblin, because basically this deck is 39. It's 37 cards plus 3. Upstart Goblin is back at 3, and people are very excited about that, because now we can just, 37 card our decks and then draw and have easy draw support. Which in itself, Upside Goblin is just a freebie draw card. That's really why that's why it was limited, and it was unlimited, and went back to limited because of that, and now it's unlimited. So give it some time, start some decks to abuse spell cards. Upside Goblin's gonna be one of them, and Upside Goblin's gonna go back. Triple Tactics Talent is here because, well, Pot of Desires is back at 3. I was never a big fan of Pot of Desires because I didn't like having half of my deck gone and then having to survive off of what was left. Or basically 1/3 to 1/4 of my deck gone. And with Triple Tactics, you have an option of things where it can either be your Change of Heart, your Confiscation, or it can be your Pot of Greed. And yes, I do not have Triple Tactics dressed. I've already said in another video, only because the money was funny. Money is always going to be funny playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but if you have the options of things for budget variants, definitely take advantage of it. And since Triple Tactics Talent is now a budget card because it's been reprinted, give it some more time, I'll probably reprint it again. You'll probably see it in like a common or a super. Kazari is super. It's an ultra prismatic and all of that. So it's only give it a time. It'll be a common, and then people can really run around and stick with it. But yeah, this card is very, very amazing. It has a lot of benefits to it. And that's why a lot of people are running it. That's why a lot of people or decks are just taking advantage of it because there's 3 amazing effects you can easily take advantage of. All right. And then with that said, that's literally all of the spells. And then the only trap that I'm playing in the deck is Infinity Impermanence to go alongside with negation, similar to Effect Veiler. And I think this is still another really good card to play around with. I think it's an amazing setup card, or basically just a good card to support your Sky Strikers. So say you don't draw into your Effect Veiler, you have this in hand, you're not going first, your opponent is, and this can do some disruption. So I also hitting their Spell and Trap card corresponding zones as well. So alright, that is it for the main deck. And then going into the extra, and I said it before, this is your link climb. Your link climb can be any combination of things if you want it to. That is perfectly up to you. It doesn't have to be the Tapic Logic. You can take out one, make that your second Hayate or third Hayate or whatever floats your boat with ever your extra deck needs to be. But for the Sky Striker extra deck monsters, you're definitely rocking the triple copies of Shizuku, the triple copies of Kagari, and even though I am missing the triple copy of Hayate, most people are probably running these 3. Hayate can easily can direct attack your opponent, then send a Sky Striker spell to your graveyard, and you can go ahead and Kagari and then get that spell back to your hand, which most likely will probably be engaged. Gary is always probably going to get engaged. If she's not getting engaged, she's always getting Widow Anchor in them so that you can play around with those abilities. And then Shizuku is your searcher. And Shizuku is a great card because use of their ability is that for every number of cells and traps in your graveyard, your opponent's monsters loses 100 attack and defense, which means that Shizuku can be a powerhouse against those. Kagari gains 100 attack for each spell in your grave. I'm sorry, in that spell and trap for Shizuku, they all work around cells. So Hayate sends spells to the grave. Kagari can pick those spells up when she's summoned, and then Shizuku can search your deck for any spell any Sky Striker spell, any Sky Striker card in your deck as long as it's not in the graveyard. And most of the time you're going to be getting your spells. While also for every number of spells, Kagari will get 100 attack for every spell card in your graveyard, and Shizuku will reduce the attack of all your opponent's monsters for every spell in the graveyard, in your graveyard. Then you have, of course, Zeki, which is really good for removal. And you have Kina, who every time a spell is played, you gain 100 life points. And when she's summoned, I believe you can target a card your opponent controls and negate that card until the end of the turn. So you have negation, you have removal, you have search, you have recover, and you have direct attack with filling the grave out of these Sky Striker cards. So the only one that I'm not running is the new one. I think it's Zelia. Because I never liked the Zelia's effect. I think I was very vocal about that. I'm still not too happy about it. I think there is another Sky Striker card, but it's not out yet. Another Link monster that's not out yet. And I think she's actually pretty good. And then they have their big rank 4. I'm not too happy about it because I feel like it's pretty neat. It's very mid. As well as its effect. Like a negation that's once per chain, it has to be the second chain. Yeah, no, we're good. But I have a video up for that, so definitely check that out if you want to hear my full opinion on those new Strike Striker cards that are supposed to be coming out. Or already out in the OCG. But for that, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is the end of my deck profile for the Sky Strikers. While it seems to be very more budget friendly and very budget um oriented, is perfectly fine. And if you have your own builds of it, go ahead, share them, and do that for your fellow Sky Striker players. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoy the return of Star Trekkers to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, as it helps me out tremendously. Hit that notification bell as well to be informed when I upload more content to the channel. My social media links are in the description box below. You guys can check me out on social media as well. Thanks everybody for watching, and HPJ signing out. Take care.